Welcome back to the blog. As you can see, I've had a busy couple of days working down my list. It's now Christmas Eve and all that lot down the bottom is still to do. Biggest issue was that one there, set tappets. I did find that the push rods I got from MED were too long and it was keeping the valves open the whole time. So what I had to do was put the standard ones back in and try it. But I'm still struggling to get it set because I'm having to push the car to set the tappets, and it's really hard to push for some reason. There's a stiff point somewhere on it, and I'm really struggling to push it past it. And I've absolutely killed myself over the past couple of days working on the exhaust, which was an absolute nightmare trying to get it to go back on because it was just all slightly out of alignment and really tight. And then yesterday, fighting on with the tappets, pushing the car backwards and forwards, I'm just knackered. Okay, so time to load the new map onto the ECU. Opened up the DTA S-Win software, located the map that I saved the other night, which is down there. You can maybe see there's an awful lot of maps on there. The one I'm after is map 52, so I'll load that, and then what I'll do is I will update the ECU map, which puts this map here onto the ECU that's in the car. One of the things I'll have to watch is when I turn the ignition on, it should pressurise the fuel system, so I have to check for any fuel leaks. Hear the fuel pump fire up there, so I need to look to see if there's any leaks. I'll put some blue paper in various places. The end of the fuel rail. That's alright. Cool. No fuel leaks. Okie dokie, back on the computer again. We'll go File, Connect to ECU, Connecting, reading the ECU map that's in. Yeah, this is how you do it. Lots of things failed there. Map sensor, well I don't have one. Oil pressure, fuel pressure, don't have that. Battery's alright. Lambda's reading like nothing. Water temperature's 10 degrees. Throttle 0. Air temp sensor's not plugged in, which is why that one's failed, and it should be reading a value. But I'll worry about that later. So, File, Update ECU map. Open, upload from disk, that's what I want. It's telling me that it's locked and I can't do anything, so File. Upload from disk, find that version 52, load. It tells you to don't do anything, basically. That's a red line down the bottom. It's putting it in. Fuel pump came on again, and that's it, in. Quick check for any leaks still. No, we're still good. Yeah, no, we're alright. Still no leaks, so then I can just check the essential map settings, which is the ignition map. The two ignition maps between the two cars were very similar, so I should be safe enough copying them straight across. Fuel in, same size injectors on both cars, so hopefully it should be there or thereabouts, but we won't know until we get a first start. Display and edit test functions. I could test the... no, I can't test the injectors yet because I haven't got the ECU pins in. So that's it for now. Next job will be to... I'll just lock that. Next job will be to put the ECU pins in. Okay, so the next job is to put the ECU pins back in. These were the 2 extra injector drivers that we took out when we were playing about with the sequential injection on the Siamese port. It'll just be a case of taking the tape off. If you can see them alright. Take the tape off and then push them back into the slots in the back of there. I think they go to the left as we're looking at it of that white and the brown one, just in the bottom row there. But I'll check that, see which one goes in where, and then they just push in and then click in place. Okay, that's the wires into the ECU plug there. Simple enough, it was just a case of pushing them in. The white locking device there, you push it through to the far side, it moves out of the way. Slide the wires in, they click into place. You can check in there that they're all the way through, and then you just slide the white locking pins back from that side through to this side and it locks in place. If it doesn't slide, it means your pins aren't all the way through. So that's that. That'll plug back into the ECU, and I should be able to test the injectors next. There we go, test injectors, coils and auxiliaries. Tells you to make sure the fuel pump is off. I disabled the fuel pump relay, so that shouldn't work. Option down here to test the coils and injectors. Well, I don't want to test the coils, pointless, because I've got no spark plugs or anything, or spark plug leads. Turn that off, click start, and in theory you should be able to hear it start clicking. Alright, so now it's telling me that I can click all these various options, none of which I've got. Now it's telling me I can test injectors. There you go, you can hear it. As far as I can tell, that's all 4 working. So I'll just stop that. Job done. Next thing to do is to set the throttle stops. So I'll just open the software again. And it's not seeing the ECU because I haven't turned the ignition on. There we go. There we go. Engine configuration. Throttle stops. It gives you the, if you can see that, pan down, it's hard to see, but it gives you the old throttle position, closed and open, and the new one. So it asks you to press OK when the throttle is fully closed. Click OK and press OK again when the throttle's fully open. So I'll just press it down. It doesn't sound, oh, it feels a bit funny, but we'll see. Okay, so that's fully down, and press OK again. And it asks you, are these values correct? And you say yes. So the new values are 54 and 710. So we'll just test that. Yeah, 0. One thing to check now is the actual movement on the throttle bodies in the engine bay, but I can't press the pedal in here and check that at the same time. I'm not that clever. Job is buggered. Can't set the tappets at all. Suffering valve to piston contact all the time, and the problem seems to be that the inlet valve, well, it's mainly the inlet, well actually it's both the inlet and the exhaust, but the inlet valve is opening at top dead centre and it's hitting the valve, it's hitting the piston crown, sorry, not the valve is hitting the piston, If you look at this diagram behind me, you'll see that the inlet valve is supposed to open as the piston is more or less going down, drawing in the the air and whatever, the fuel, but it's not. I'll show you this picture. If you can see that, you look at the left hand side one, piston's on its way down, inlet is opening, and then on the second one, piston's on its way back up, both valves are shut. Third one, piston's on its way down, both valves are shut, that's your combustion. And then on the last one, the exhaust stroke, the exhaust valve is opening as the piston's coming back up and it's pushing out the exhaust gases. So obviously my timing's gonna miss somewhere. I think it's slipped. I think the cam timing slipped and the valve is opening at the wrong point. Possibly on the intake it's opening too late or too early, I'm not sure which one it is. But it's definitely smacking the piston all the time. And the issue I've got is you can see the valve is just starting to open there, and if I poke that in there, that's at top dead centre, and you can't push it because it's hitting. There's a point where it hits and that's it. I've slackened off this one to try and get some clearance, and as soon if I slacken that off to lift the valve up out of the way, let's turn that back. If I slacken that off to lift the valve up out of the way, then I can turn the engine over. So that proves it's the valves are now hitting the pistons. And it didn't do that on the dry build, on the dummy build, so something must have moved. Because I'd set the cam timing originally, and then put these inlet valves in at either end, set them, and turned it over with some plasticine and that on the top of the piston, and it was fine. But now it's not, and the only way to get that solved and to check the cam timing, it's in there. So to do it in situ, all that side of the engine would have to come apart, all the way down to the crank pulley and everything. All the way down in the bottom of there, that would all have to come off. So I don't know. Engine back out maybe? Don't know at the moment. Pissed off. So that's it. It ain't going to be fired up for Christmas Day, and absolutely everything else is ready. Fueling works, throttle stops are all set, ECU's ready to go. Absolutely everything, but I just cannot get these tappets set. Right, update sometime.